Be Harry Silcock, and he'll be looking for a time in the around about probably about a 1:05. So it looks like Harry Silcock going up the hill, and they're getting very spectacular. Tail out as he goes through Nota's corner, heads up to the Repco hairpin. Now Harry is son of former Ashley Forest Rally Sprint winner John Silcock, and down the hill he comes, going through the plough dipper. Very tidy line through there. And this looks like an improved run for Harry Silcock as he goes through the Kumo Tyres finish line. And we'll try and get a time to you for Harry Silcock. Next car up should be the cross cart of Jared Owens. And yes, it's Jared Owens. Now he could put the challenges in this weekend to Matt Penrose, who's the defending champion. Oh, look at the revs go up for Jared Owens. Jared Owens has done a lot of circuit racing. And has also done the Ashburton Street Sprint. Oh yes, we have to apologise for the power outage. Of course, it was beyond the pit's control.
Yeah, unfortunately up the road there, there was with the wind, Lawrence, a tree had come down and knocked out the power supply to the area. So unfortunately out of our hands, but it's all up and running again. So great for the crew to get that all sorted and quickly here for the end of our start of our third run this afternoon.
Through the Plough Dipper Hotel Dipper. Oh, around the last of the left-hand corners. And here comes Jared Owens. And we'll get a time for both Harry Silcock and Gerald Owens.
.104.21 is the time there for Jared Owens. So an improvement there for Jared. And the time there for Harry Silcock was a 105.11. So a 105.11 plays a 104.21. So now we're up to Matt Penrose.
Of course, he is the pace setter in the cross cars. And the man to beat.
Yeah, so Matt's time here for previous run was a 102.92.
Certainly got the revs down as he goes uphill. And he's going down that long straight. There goes the picture of the long straight on the Pits TV.
So
and he'll be heading up to that right-hand kink, which catches quite a few drivers out.
Yeah, he's certainly throwing it around here is Matt Penrose. He is working his way through Notas.
Oh, he's got the tail out. He's certainly very determined. And Matt Penrose, the former South Island Formula Ford champion. Oh, gets a nice run out of the Repco hairpin. Plenty of momentum. Momentum is key in motorsport. Through the Plough Hotel Dipper.
So 38.19 the split there for that of Matt Penrose.
That's very, very fast and certainly challenging the top rally cars through the Kumo Tyres finish line in time of
101.12.
101.12. Of course, son of Tom Penrose, former Autosport Club champion.
Just for the guys who are in the pits here that aren't up and ready for run number 3, can you please make sure that you are up and ready and heading up to start for your third run here as we see Michael McMillan, the first of our Skip to You 0 to 1300cc cars, coming up to the line for his third run of the day, the final run for these guys.
Oh, sponsored there by Stadium Cars.
So after 2 runs here, Michael McMillan 45th overall with a 1:21.41. Sorry, let me get the right paperwork here. There's of course been 2 runs, not 1, and Michael has improved on his time. So 46th with a 1:19.15. 1:19.15, his quickest time for run number 2 for Michael McMillan in the Toyota Starlet.
Rear-wheel drive. We find most of the rally Starlets are rear-wheel drive. There's the odd front-wheel drive car. I know Jeff Coombe actually took away the 0 to 1300cc Skip to You class twice in 2 occasions in a front-wheel drive Starlet.
So Michael McMillan working his way up. Best split time for him, a 49.30 for him at the Repco hairpin, and he's working his way up towards Notas.
Well, he'll be looking to shave a couple of seconds off perhaps to the Repco hairpin. Of course, in these little cars, they're sort of underpowered, need to use every inch of the track as possible.
Yeah, very much momentum-based cars here are 0 to 1300cc cars. So 50.45 is the split time, so fractionally slower than his previous split time. So
yeah, I'd say the wind has picked up a wee bit, which won't be helping matters.
So could still be looking here to do about a 1:20 for Michael McMillan here in his third and final run.
And the time for over the Kumho Tyres finish line.
So 1:19.89, 1:19.89 for Michael McMillan and the 0 to 1300cc Skip for You class. So we move now on to our next runner coming up to the Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line.
And that's Peter Murch. Now, Peter used to race predominantly in Datsun 1200s, but in recent years he's gone to the Starlet, and the Suzuki Swift-powered Starlet. So a wee bit more horsepower than your average Starlet. He's sponsored by Carter Brothers Tyres. And of course, Peter's actually finished in the top 3 previously before, so usually makes the top 3 run off, but we'll be looking to maybe just jump a step further up on the podium.
After his second round, Peter Murch is sitting in 40th place there with a 1:15.47. So he'll be looking to improve his time. Haven't had a split yet for Peter Murch, so we'll see if we can get one up to the Repco hairpin. Up he comes now, just trying to work his way through. Quick flick of the handbrake.
Very close to the tyre there, but certainly well executed out of the Repco hairpin.
47.64 is the split time to the Repco hairpin for that of Peter Murch.
Nice line out through the Plough Hotel Dipper. And coming round the last of the right-hand corners into the Kumho Tyres finish line, Peter Murch.
So 1:15.55 is the time there for that of Peter Murch. So that one there is slightly quicker. So he now goes a little bit ahead as we see Paul Rowan up to the line.
Yeah, Paul Rowan from Blenheim. Of course, he almost scored an upset win last year But Chris Herdman came back in the final and did a blinder run in the last run of the 0 to 1300cc skip to you final.
So Paul 35th overall in his Toyota Starlet. Best time for him, a 1:13.87 is his quickest time there. And he is the quickest in the 0 to 1300cc class. So Rowan working his way up through a notice.
Of course, over the years we've had a good contingent of Marlborough Car Club members come up here to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint and equip themselves very well. 44.68 to the Repco hairpin.
So that's a really good time there for Paul there. His best time previous was a 47.06, so he will be looking there to maybe a 1:11 potentially here if he can keep it together.
Through the Kumo Tyres finish line. And I say it's going to be a tight battle between Rowan and, of course, Chris Herdman for the 0 to 1300cc skip to you title.
So 1:11.70.
1:11.70.
And just great execution there up at the Repco hairpin.
And here is Chris Herdman, the builder.
So Chris Herdman here on the start line.
Also,
of course, our
he's waving.
Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line.
He's got sponsorship on the side from McKnight Plumbing and Pegasus Fencing. So it'd be very interesting to compare times between Chris Herdman and Paul Rowan. Shane Rowan, sorry.
It is Paul Rowan,
who
Paul Rowan, just went before, yep.
Had it right the first time.
So Chris Herdman, after 2 runs, a 1:18.63 in his first run is his quickest. Was obviously slower in run number 2. So remember he gave the tyre bundle a bit of a whack at the Repco hairpin, still carrying that damage on the front end. So he'll be looking for redemption here as he comes up to the Repco hairpin.
Oh, nice line through there. So good execution of the Repco hairpin. And Chris Herdman, of course, being very successful in the 0 to 1300 class in the mainland series.
So 47.15 is the time to the Repco hairpin. So not as fast as Paul Rowan as he comes through down towards the Kumo Tyres finish line. Chris Herdman will grab a 1:14.41. So 1:14.41.
Well, he's just doing a bit of grass cutting as he came across by the RATEC van.
So that one going the way of Paul Rowan with a 1:11.
It's still early
70,
days yet.
And a 1:14.41 for the completion of our skip to you 0 to 1300cc class. Moving now on to our 1301 to 1600cc Parks Engineering class, and it is Shane Paget who is up to the line.
Shane is in car number 48. He got sponsorship on the side from Repco. So Shane Paget, the former RX7, RX8 champion in circuit racing.
Disappears into the dust from the start line, the Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line. And of course, for Shane in a first time up here at the hill this weekend, 42nd overall, a 1:16.42 achieved in that second run.
Well, I can tell you going from circuit racing to rallying is not easy at all. It's completely different discipline. We've seen some drivers manage to do that very, very well, the likes of Trevor Crowe, who can adapt to either circuit racing or rallying. And we see Paget getting the momentum down as he comes out of the Repco hairpin, going down to the Plough Tavern Dipper.
So 45 67, an improvement there from the 47.37 that we saw in the second run. So based on that, should be about a 114, potentially a 113. See how he goes, Shane Paget. A 114.50. 114.50 is the time there for Shane Paget. So nothing to be disappointed with. 3 runs in the bag here.
Fantastic to see the escorts out in numbers here at Ashley Forest this year. So okay, next car on the line, it looks like, is it
Kyle
Sloan?
Thompson?
Oh,
Kyle Thompson here.
Thompson. And Carl is car number 46, the advanced sandblasting car. We Toyota Starlet, rear wheel drive. In fact, we've got no front wheel drive Starlets this year. We'll have to try and get Coombsy enthusiastic and come back in his 2-time championship winning front wheel drive Starlet.
He could bring back the Suzuki. What do they call it? The custard square.
No, the custard tart.
Oh,
custard tart. Yeah.
I'm sure it was custard square. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Kyle
whatever.
Thompson heading on up the hill here. We see if we can get Jeff Coombe to come and do another run. I'm sure he'd love to get back involved. Of course.
Well, he's very much involved with his daughter's rugby at the moment. She's doing very well indeed, Stevie. Okay, as we head up to the Repco hairpin.
So Kyle Thompson last time 49.52 for his best time and a 44th overall, 118.14 last time. So 48.89, so about a half a second there. Just over half a second improvement here for Kyle Thompson, the engineer from Christchurch.
Oh, he gets a bit taily coming out of that right-hander. And through the Kumho Tyres finish line.
So 118.38. So a little bit slower there for Kyle Thompson, but still a 118. So consistency showing off here for Kyle in his second and third runs. And just watching here the replay up to the Repco hairpin. And turned in just a slight touch early there and had to sort of give it a bit of a flick of steering.
Okay, we've got young Harry Silcock on the Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line. And Supercarts Indoor Raceway, of course, down Byron Street. And the number 1 indoor go-karting place here in Christchurch.
And Harry Silcock, after 2 runs there, best time of 1:14.49. And he is 39th overall and sitting third in class behind Tim McDonald and Kerry Sloan. So a good first up effort here for Harry Silcock in the Toyota Starlet.
Well, he's shown his versatility driving the cross car and the wee Starlet, and not doing a bad job on both, really.
So he's coming up here to the Repco hairpin, or just has to have a wee steer out to avoid the tyre.
He's got sponsorship on the back from Carter's Tyre Service.
So 47.16 is the split to the Repco hairpin. So 0.4 of a second time gain there from run number 2 for that of Harry Silcock.
Here he comes downhill and just about to reach the Kumho Tyres finish line.
Another solid run here for Harry Silcock. So 1:14.61, so not his quickest run, but right there he's been in the 14s for this run and the last run.
But that's a good time for a wee Starlet.
And consistency too. He's got two pretty much identical times there within half a second of each other. So,
well, up next we have, I think it's Mr. Mackenzie, is it not?
No, it's Tim McDonald.
Oh, Tim McDonald from Amberley, car number 44.
So the DX Corolla here. Tim McDonald streaks away from the Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line.
Okay.
So we're heading up the hill here with that of Tim McDonald. And as I say, after 2 runs there for Tim McDonald, 36th overall. Best time in run number 2 achieved of a 1:14.03. So close to the 113 mark here. And 46.18 to the Repco hairpin in run number 2, Lawrence. He'll be looking to go under the 46s.
Well, I think he'll achieve... Oh, I was going to say he'll achieve that, but he runs very, very wide. He lost a lot of time out of there. So I think this could be a similar time to last time around.
Yeah, just wait.
As he goes through the plough.
So he's actually improved there up there up until that point. 44.92 is the split time to the Repco hairpin, but all come undone pretty much right as he achieved that time.
But he's flying downhill, so he's definitely trying. What, 1:14.25, and that's pretty similar to what he did last time, is it not?
It's about 2/10 slower. You just see there, just locks up the front wheels and the car just continuing to slide forward, and he's not able to set himself up for the apex of the corner.
Yeah, he overshot the corner really under braking. So next up, of course, is Kerry Sloan, and of course he is the favourite to win the 1301 to 1600 class.
Brought to us by Parks Engineering.
Brought to us by Parks Engineering, yes. And Repco sponsorship on the side. A wee starlet, 1600 4 AGE. Of course, 4 AGE engine. It's the Formula Atlantic cars. Some of the Formula Atlantic cars used to run more or less the 4 AGE engine, the likes of Dave McMillan many years ago.
Yeah, good wee power plant. They've got a good power band delivery. And Kerry Sloan using all of it here, of course, quickest in our 1301 to 1600 class, and gets very sideways there on the exit of Nodas. Will that cost him any time as he works his way up to that Repco hairpin? Textbook slide from the man from Dunsandel. So we'll see if we can get the time there for the Repco hairpin.
And that's Kerry Sloan. I believe he's, I think that may be Phil Sloan's brother, who used to run up here in Subaru.
So 45.72, so he's a little bit slower to the hairpin up there at the Repco hairpin, and already down to the Kumo Tyres finish line.
And this should be a good time for...
So it's not as quick as to 1:12.24. 1:12.24 here for Kerry Sloan, but still quick enough here to be leading our 1301 to 1600 Parks Engineering class. So now we are into the
we got Rob Lewis.
Classic two-wheel drive field, brought to us by Demon Decals and Design. This is Rob Lewis.
Car number 42 in the Ford Escort RS 2000. Oh, he boxed down at the start.
Yeah,
and of course it is rotary powered.
Rob struggled to have a clean run here. He's had 2 half spins across 2 runs.
Well, Rob's actually a former Pro 7 Series 1 RX7 champion in circuit racing. So he's very versatile. Of course, raced motorcycles. His son, of course, Jake Lewis, who rode successfully in Europe and the World Superbikes.
So Rob having a nice clean run here through Nodas, through to the uphill part, now up to the Repco hairpin. Can he line it up? Oh, managed to stay off the tyres.
He's done the 2 bites of the cherry thing up there, but managed to recover it.
And
lost
it's his
a little
best
bit
run.
of time.
Best run of 43.45. So
well, I'm not surprised it's his best run. He's had 2 spins going uphill in the previous 2 runs.
So you just got to get through the. He's already through the Plough Hotel Dipper. A couple of corners left to negotiate here for Rob Lewis.
And here he comes through the Kumo Tyres finish line.
So 1:10.50, 1:10.50 for that of Rob Lewis.
So that's about a 5-second improvement, which is good. And I think I said last time, if he had a clean run last time, he'd do around about a 1:10.
Well, it's a bit more than 10 seconds, Lawrence. He best time last second run was a 1:31, so that's a 1:10. So try 21 seconds difference. So the next one coming up to the line here.
That's Phil Walker. Phil Walker in the Series 1 RX-7. Now, Phil's done quite a few hill climbs and whatnot. He has been a RATEC member previously, and he was a committee member for the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint a couple of seasons back.
So just looking here at Phil's time, his best one so far is a 1:12.57. So that puts him in 31st after 2 runs. So a couple of clean ones so far. He's looking to get into the 111s, maybe 110s.
Not taking too many risks there, just taking, you'd almost say circuit racing lines, but he's got the tail out now as he heads up to the Repco hairpin. And he muffed the hairpin a wee bit, ran a bit wide.
So 44.72, not his quickest split there to the hairpin, and lost a little bit of time on exit. So he'll be looking potentially about a 1:13 here.
Yes, he ended up, here he comes, about to go through the Kumho Tyres finish line. Oh, just about on the grass there.
Managed to bring it up with no trouble.
I don't think he's still stopped though. He's still going.
So 1:12.98. 1:12.98 is the time there for Phil Walker. So
Two
just
runs,
lost a little bit of time. Second run the best.
2 runs there in the 112s. How much has he got left? Okay, next up, is it Tim McIver?
Car 39. Tim McIver.
Yeah, car number 39, Tim McIver. It was, I think it was this car he was sharing with Stuart Reid last year.
The BDA Escort.
Oh, there's nothing like the sound of a BDA Escort.
Making his way up from the Superkarts Indoor Raceway start line.
Some would say that the sound of a Mazda Rotary in the forest is glorious as well.
Well, we had the mix of both. We had a Rotary and then a Rotary engine in an Escort. So if you're divided by that, boy, it's a tough one out there having a Rotary in an Escort. A little bit of blasphemy.
Well, I think it's the echo of a Rotary that sounds good in the forest. But here we go for the BDA Escort.
Well done through the Repco hairpin there for Tim McIver. That was nicely done. And it shows in the times of 43.13. It's his quickest split.
Well, it's a quick car, so here we go. Oh, it gets a bit wide. Out of that right-hander, here he comes through the Kumho Tyres finish line.
So there should be a good improvement here, maybe looking closer to a 1:10. A 1:10.14. So 1:10.14 is the time there for that of Tim McIver. And just watching here on the live stream, beautifully executed with the flick spin.
Yes, and we believe the fastest BDA Escort around Ashley Forest has been a 1:06. Okay, next on the line, it is the car of Stuart Reid.
Yeah, Stuart Reid here, yeah. Car 38, the ex-Richard Kelsey, RX-7, Group B.
Yes, done up in Rod Millen colours. Of course, Rod Millen went over and completely dominated the Sports Car Club of America Rally Championship. Before he came, it was John Buffum in a TR7 V8 was the man to beat. And Millen went over there and just completely obliterated him. Of course, John Wolfe, who won this event in 1980, also went off to the US in a RX-7 Mazda and was tragically killed by someone who wasn't supposed to be on the rally road, going in the opposite direction. So the time at the Repco hairpin.
Yeah, 41.15, so a really good time there.
Through the
41.66, I should say.
Through the Plough Hotel dipper, through the right-hander, just before the finish line. Here he comes.
So this should be a good time here. A 107.42, 107.42 for that of Stuart Reid. And that's consistent with his second run there, a 107.64. So consistency the key here for Stuart Reid.
Well, sometimes, you know, the light goes down later in the day and you don't go any quicker sometimes this time of the day. But we'll see how things all pan out as we've got car number
37, Willie Hawes.
37, Willie Hawes.
The first of our unlimited two-wheel drive class, brought to us by Secure Scaffold.
It's got a bit of a bark to it, that car of Willie Hawes.
The Subaru H6 engine and the underneath the bonnet there of the Toyota GT86. One of two cars that Willie Hawes is running this weekend up here at the RATEC Motorsport Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for 2023. Just having a clean run here through notice for Willie Hawes. Lots of power coming through those rear wheels.
He goes through the Repco hairpin. It's a great shame we've lost that event down south, the Race to the Sky, because that was a sort of a rival event, if you like, to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint.
So 46.28 is the split there to the Repco hairpin for that of William Hawes through the Plough Hotel dipper, already making his way down the hill.
Through the Kumho Tyres finish line for Willie Hawes.
So 1:13.68, 1:13.68 is the time there for Willie Hawes, and that is his best run of the day. Of course, a little bit of panel damage there, knocking the tyre in the second run. So a clean run there for him.
And up next, we've got the BMW.
Mark Kibble.
Mark Kibble. So Mark Kibble from Nelson, originally out of Wellington.
First time here competing this weekend.
Yeah, I think Mark, though, has had a fair bit of rally experience coming from the Kibble family. But the BMW, certainly a different car, different shingle car. Of course, as you alluded to before, of course, Ari Pettigrew was very successful in a BMW.
Of course, he was challenging for the Unlimited Two-Wheel Drive Championship in the BMW 318 Ti. Mark getting to grips here, running up the hill, his third run up the hill.
So he gets this, oh, that's an interesting line there for the Repco hairpin.
So he's 50.66 to the Repco hairpin. So he's managed to shave 5 seconds off his run today from the first run up the hill. So confidence growing here for Mark Kibble through the Plough Hotel dipper. Now he works his way down to the Kumho Tyres finish line. And through he comes. You're looking hopefully for about a 1:21.92. So Not quite there at the 120 mark, but still a solid progression day for that of Mark Kibble. And yeah, turning in there and sort of was about a half a car length wide of the Repco hairpin.
Well, this will be one of your favourite cars there on the line there now, Nathan.
They're all my favourites, Lawrence.
This is Scott Johnson, car number 35.
This car is done drifting. You can hear the
anti-lag
kicking in there as he heads up the hill.
We'll have to get Mad Mike up here.
I don't know if he put some gravel suspension and gravel tyres on. He might bring the trophy truck instead. Scott Johnson, is this, very slow run here. Something's happened.
I think he's broken something.
He's pulling off here to the left at the uphill kink. So looks like we're going to get ourselves another recovery job. The boys up there at Parks have potentially got themselves another recovery here.
I'll tell you what, his lights are still going.
Oh, he's away.
Oh, he's away again, yeah.
Managed to find himself a gear and get moving. But, going very slow. So
yeah,
he's going to pull it up here on the inside of the course. So a shame there for that of Scott Johnson. He's just potentially going to see if he can get it going. Can hear the.
Oh, he's away again. So
maybe he's broken it, an axle potentially.
Well, I'm thinking it's something in the rear end differential or axle or something.
Yeah, he's managed to continue on here, but at a very slow pace, and he will complete here with a slow time. But good news is he doesn't require the services of the tow truck as he works his way up here to the Repco hairpin, and this will just be a get back down the hill and see if they can rectify the problems for tomorrow.
Maybe it may also be a... No, I don't think it'd be a drivetrain. I'm sure he wouldn't be going if it was. Right.
Yeah. Slow time there of a 135. Obviously, the major problems here for that Supra of Scott Johnson. So we'll just recap from the end of run number 2 those times there for when we lost out our final few cars just before lunch break. So run number 2, Sloane Cox at 59.15 was the run 2 time for him, and Hayden Paddon in the Hyundai i20 AP4 56.11 was the run time there for Hayden and run number 2. So as it stands after run number 2, it's Hayden Paddon 1-2, the AP4 against the Kona EV. Sloane Cox still sitting there in 3rd. Aru Pettigrew up into 4th. Neil Webb into 5th. Phil Campbell drops to 6th there. Michael Toole in 7th. Gareth McLaughlin 8th. David Quantock 9th. And Willie Hawes in the Toyota Celica GT4 rounding out our 10. As to the line comes Wade Henshaw in the Mazda RX-7. So the engine builder heads away from the Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line.
It's actually, he's been living in Nelson for the last, no, that was...
So Wade Henshaw heading up through the hill. He's working his way up through the uphill kink. A best time for him achieved in run number 1 of 1:14.35. And that time good enough there for 38th overall. Of course, Wade works on a whole bunch of different engines, especially specialising there in the rotary power, and makes his way around the Repco hairpin.
Talking of rotary power, this is ex-Kim Austin car. His his former New Zealand RX-7 champion, 3-time South Island RX-7 champion, and runner-up in the New Zealand V8 championship.
So 44.96. Best split to the Repco hairpin here for Wade Henshaw. Down through to the Kumho Tyres finish. So that time there for Wade Henshaw, a 1:11.24. So quickest run of the day, leaving it till the very end here for Wade Henshaw. A 1:11.24 is the time for Wade in car 34. So next car coming from the Winmax Brakes by Pattern Rally Sports staging area is the Holden Commodore.
Steve Pass, the aircraft engineer from Mandeville. They're sponsored by Cassidy Davis Electrical. Of course, these type of cars were very popular rallying in Australia not that very long ago, and on shingle too.
Yeah, of course, we've seen some Aussies come over and compete in the Otago Rally. They bring their cars over from Australia. A few Holdens in amongst that later model too, coming over to compete. Love to get them here to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for a go. But Steve Pabst working his way up through to the Repco hairpin.
Well, you'll have to talk to Stuart Reid about that, because he's sort of involved in the Australian rallying scene.
So Steve's best time here looking for him is a 1:12.49. 1:12.49 is the best time here for Steve Pabst, and 30th overall. So 44.38 is the split time to the Repco hairpin. That's his best by 9/10 of a second, so almost a second off.
Oh, just about clobbered the bank there. That was close, just coming out of the Plough Hotel Dipper.
So if he can keep it together here through to the finish line for Steve Pabst, he'll be looking potentially about a 1:10, 1:11.
There's a 1:12, I believe.
A 1:12.20, so lost a little bit of time on the course there. 1:12.20, so consistent with the last run for Steve Pabst.
Okay, up next should be the man from Perth, Glenn Alcorn, in the Ford Escort Mark II RS 2000.
Yeah, and you can just see there, Lawrence, the front grille there, very different to the other Escorts. The RS 2000 model with the different front grille, bumper assembly.
Yes, that's the how they are in England. Okay, up the hill they go. He goes.
So Glenn, best time for him so far today is achieved in run number 1, and that was a 1:13.26. And that puts him in 34th overall. So
I think from memory, didn't he have a bit of a moment at the Repco hairpin last time around?
He did. So he'll be looking to see if he can improve up there at the exit of the Repco hairpin. He's certainly giving it his all up through Notas.
Yeah, plenty of oversteer there as he comes up to the Repco hairpin. Oh, just runs a bit wide out of there, but bit of momentum going his way.
So 43.73, so it's his quickest run to the hairpin.
Through the Plough Hotel Dipper.
So he's a second up here on his second split. So this should be looking promising here for the man from Perth, Glenn Alcorn, as he comes through the Kumo Tyres finish line, and should be happy with that result there, Lawrence. End of day 1.
And what was the time for Glenn?
So we'll just see if we can get that time again for so 1:10.03.
Yeah,
that's a great time there.
That's a good time
for Glenn.
Okay, next up to the line is Trevor Crow in the Crow Sport Subaru Justy.
Car number 19.
Now, Trevor's probably done just about more rally sprints at Ashley Forest than any other competitor.
Hands down.
Oh, no, you've got the likes of Don McLaren, who's done quite a few, and also Carl Bellani, who's probably been missing from the last couple, but certainly has done the majority of them.
So 1:12.85, the quickest time there so far achieved by Trevor Crowe. Just looking at where he's slotting in overall, 32nd with that 1:12.85. So he's right on the cusp currently of the eliminations if they took it from run number 2. He's working his way through the Repco hairpin, very tight on the hairpin there for Trevor Crowe.
Of course, Trevor competed in marathon jet racing over in Mexico in the 1970s.
44.57 is the split time to the Repco hairpin.
And here he comes.
So he has gone quicker in the...
through the Kumo Tyres finish line. He also used to race the ex-Peter Woods Mustang at Coke & Tools Woodford Glen Speedway.
So that is his quickest time, a 1:11.21. Quickest split at the hairpin and quickest run there at the end. Just look at how he just rotated the car so close to the tyre there at the hairpin.
Well, the master, Trevor Crowe. And up next is his arch rival, of course, Chris Hay, 12-time winner of the two-wheel drive unlimited class. Of course, this weekend brought to you by Secure Scaffold. And this is the MR2. And this is the car that holds the record for two-wheel drive at a 1:09. He's off like a robber's dog.
So just looking here, Chris Hay, 13th quickest after 2 rounds. A 1:04.56 achieved in run number 2. And he'll be looking to go sub 40 seconds to the Repco hairpin. It is capable, this car, well and truly.
Well, it's certainly capable of around about 37 seconds to the Repco hairpin in previous performances. Through the Repco hairpin, runs very wide indeed. He's off onto the boondocks.
38.98, so he's under the 40 seconds by a good second there. So this could bring him down close to a 1:02, potentially squeeze a 1:01 here if he can have a clean run.
Well, here he comes. Just about to go through the Kumo Tyres finish line in time of...
So 1:04.55, 1:04.55 is the time there. So yeah, running wide there, as you can see. He
lost quite a bit of time there, so...
got pushed out into the loose gravel.
We could see him get close to his record this weekend too, actually. He's, you know, if he hadn't made that mistake there, he's just about on the money there. John Ward, car number 28 from Sefton in the Subaru.
Yeah, the STI out of Wood End Automotive, the Subaru STI 2008.
Yes, he's sponsored by Dave Ollis and the team at Wood End Automotive.
And his first time competing here this weekend, Lawrence.
Although he has been a passenger here before with Dave Ollis.
So looking here at his quickest run for that of John Ward. He's done well up to the Repco hairpin. And we'll get the split time for you.
Just preferring to stay off that apex at the Repco hairpin.
So 41.65 is the split time. So that's a really good split time there. A couple of seconds improvement on the 43.50 he did in run number 2. So could be looking about a 1:12, 1:11 potentially here for John Ward.
Well, here he comes through the Kumo Tyres finish line.
So we'll get that time. That's even better than I picked. A 1:10.30, I should say. 1:10.30. A 1:10.30, the time there for John Ward.
Now, next up the line should be car number 27, and that's Nigel Lawson. builder. Builder and owner of NJL Building Limited from Mosgiel, Dunedin. In the Mitsubishi Lancer 1992 standard 1800cc turbo engine.
So we are now into our brand mechanical rally 4 drive class.
And he has competed with his daughter Louise previously as co-driver here at Ashley Forest in between 2018 and 2022.
So 1:11.82 for Nigel Lawson being achieved here in run number 2. 28th quickest after the 2 runs.
Well, his best time is 1 minute 10 previously at Ashley Forest. So he goes up to the Repco hairpin.
It's a pretty smooth run through the Repco hairpin. So 42.67 is the split there to the Repco hairpin. So again, another improvement. Half a second there improvement for Nigel Lawson.
Nice line there out of the dipper. So that's the Player Hotel dipper. Through the Kumo Tyres finish line.
Well, he's just achieved his best time, a 1:09.84. 1:09.84 is the best time there for Nigel Lawson.
That's a personal best for Nigel Lawson.
So Vaher Otts coming up to the line here. Car 26.
Vaher from Christchurch, originally out of Estonia. So builds the revs up in the Christchurch Lock and Key Subaru station wagon.
Into the dust goes Vaher. Best time so far today, a 1:10.29 achieved in run number 2. And that puts him into 22nd.
Well, I'd suggest he's going to have a bit of a battle, or a private battle with Mike Beltrop. Of course, running in the same team, if you like. Of course, he is the co-driver to Mike Beltrop in rallying. There we go, through the Repco hairpin.
So coming through now towards the Player Hotel dipper. So 42.44 is the split time to the Repco hairpin. Already down towards the Kumo Tyres finish line comes Vaher Otts.
And just waiting for that time for Vaher.
So 1:07.87, 1:08.87 is the time there for Vaher Otts. Or 1:07.87. So that is a great jump there of 2.5 seconds.
So Shane McKenzie on the line, the 45-year-old from Rangiora, car number 25. And of course this is a Mitsubishi VR4. Of course similar car to Gareth McLaughlin. This one's the ex-Bruce Herbert car. Of course Bruce Herbert, a former national champion. And of course Ross Thurston also used to have this car. Of course Ross Thurston, a man of many talents in motorsport. Used to race super stocks up there at Palmerston North Showgrounds.
16th quickest here for Shane McKenzie after 2 runs, a 1:05.92. 1:05.92, his quickest run achieved there in run number 2. So he'll be looking to get under the 40-second marker, 40.64 last time up to the Repco hairpin.
And
pretty smooth.
Got sponsorship on the side there from Rally Arts. Of course, Carter's Tyres, Rangiora and Evo Parts.
So not quite under the 40s yet. A 40.54, 40.54 is the split time. So a 1/10 of a second quicker improvement. Should be about 1:05 here for Shane McKenzie as he works his way through the Kumho Tyres finish line?
Well, we've seen some quick times here this afternoon, Nathan. So it bodes well for tomorrow. That record could be under threat. Not just even the two-wheel drive records. Of course, Chris Hay, we've seen a 104 already. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
105.04, 105.04 there for Shane McKenzie.
And now we've got Corey McCaskill from Cromwell in the Subaru, 1992 Subaru Impreza RA. Of course, this is a car that Matt Jansen owned. Of course, Matt Jansen finished runner-up in the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint a few years back. And I think that was actually to Chris West.
So Corey McCaskill, best time for him a 104.81. 104.82, sorry, is the quickest time. 14th quick for Corey McCaskill. And he is in the 42nd range to the Repco hairpin on run number 2. Can he go below the 42nd bracket? So 40.15, so 40.15, so just inside the 42nd bracket as he makes his way down past the Plough Hotel Dipper. And Corey racing down towards the Kumho Tyres finish line. This should be a good solid, a 104.75, so a 10th improvement there for Corey. So we watch the replay here of the Corey McCaskill Subaru up to the Repco hairpin.
Okay, next on the line will be Willie Hawes in car number 23 from Christchurch in this Toyota Celica GT4 1990 cc turbocharged.
Just struggled to get out of the ruts there, Lawrence.
He's got this old surfboard on the back.
He climbed up the fucking ladder. He grabbed them from me. He was also
Oversized wing for aerodynamic efficiencies.
Yes, he's sponsored by Argyle Performance, Harcrow Engineering Services and Specialist Auto Services.
So, as I said earlier, Willie Hawes top 10 for him so far, 102.77. So 102.77 for Willie Hawes in the Toyota Celica GT4. And he's already gone under 40 seconds. So can he go 38?
Oh, runs incredibly wide out of the Repco hairpin. So he's just overusing the real estate there.
40.89, 40.89. So not his quickest run through the Repco hairpin. Down through the Plough Hotel Dipper and already appearing through towards the bottom of the hill. Blink and you miss it here for Willie Hawes. 106.44. 106.44 is the time there for Willie Hawes. So not his quickest run. And you can see there just locked up all four wheels and overshot the corner.
Yeah, a bit of understeer there, a bit of sledging. Okay, next car on the line, it looks like it's Phil Campbell. That's car number 22, the project manager from Tauranga in the Ford Fiesta AP4. He's second at Jack's Ridge Rally Sprint in 2020. He's sponsored by Let's Construction, United Steel, Metalcraft Roofing, and Guild and Spence Electrical. And second to Shane van Gisbergen, no mean feat. And of course, Phil runs in the top 6 or 8 cars in the National Rally Championship, so he's no slug at all. And he could be one of the surprises here at Ashley Forest this year. Very much the dark horse. But already we've seen him in the top 4 in the 2 previous runs.
Yeah, so he's 6th quickest after run number 2, a 1 minute flat .35. So second run in, and he's just on the cusp of making that under that magic minute as we get to the Repco hairpin.
Yes, well, this could be the moment that Phil Campbell goes under the minute mark here at Ashley Forest.
Well, he's consistent there with split time from the last one of 37.27. So he's right there, right on the cusp of that minute.
Yeah, right on the bubble as he comes through the Kumo Tyres finish line, and will get the time. 1:00:04.
1:00:14 for that one.
Oh, 1:04. Okay, 1:00. Sorry,
1 minute flat, 0.14. So we'll get that one right. 1 minute flat, 0.14. So it is an improvement. He's still in the minute mark.
And here we see Hayden Patton. And this should be the EV. He's got sponsorship from Hyundai New Zealand, Mitre 10 Trade. Also Mike Greer Homes, Valvoline, Bailey Caravans, Repco, Signbiz, Z Energy.
So this should be a pretty quick run here up the hill, Lawrence. This has gone 56 seconds. In run number 2, it was a 56.96 and a 35.50 to the Repco hairpin. And Hayden is hauling here.
Remember, the fastest he's done in this particular car, that's the EV, is a 55 last year. So
this is looking quick here up to the Repco hairpin for Hayden Patton.
He looks determined here as he heads downhill down to the Plough Hotel Dipper.
So 35.31, so he is quicker again by a couple of tenths of a second here for Hayden Patton.
Could be in the low 56s or even high 55. Here we go through the Kumo Tyres finish line.
So 56.14, 56.14, 56.14, 56.14 is the time achieved there for Hayden Patton in the Kona EV.
And that was quicker than the other his other car too, wasn't it?
3 1,000ths of a second slower than the
3 1,000ths. Okay, there's nothing in it. Okay, we've got Ari Pettigrew on the Supercarts start line. Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line. Ari Pettigrew, car number 21 from Rangora.
Ari fourth after 2 runs here. He's right on the cusp of that minute. 1 minute flat, 0.08, so he's 8 1,000ths of a second away from dropping under the minute. First time competing here in the Holden Barina AP4 rally car.
Well, he was. This is the car that Greg Murphy ran, his teammate to Josh Marsden in the National Rally Championship.
This is a good, solid, clean run so far for Ari. Mistake-free. Up to the Repco hairpin.
Oh, nicely around the Repco hairpin. Carrying that momentum downhill.
37.10, 37.10. So this is a good time
that's
here.
A very good time to
for Ari Pettigrew.
Yes, I think this will be under the minute. Be pretty close to it if it's not.
Here he comes.
He's fair flying through the Kumo Tyres finish line.
$59.65, 59.65 is the time there. So Ari Pettigrew, run number 3, dropping under the minute.
And he is the 3rd driver here at Ashley Forest to do that here today.
So a solid run there, 59.65.
Okay, up next is
Corey Ross,
Corey
car
Ross
31.
In the Crow Sport Subaru Specialists Subaru WRX. Now this is the car that Trevor Crow was originally penciled down to run. But then he opted out for the Subaru Justy in the 2-wheel drive class.
Just looking here for Corey Ross and his quickest time, 17th quickest for Corey, 106.24. achieved in run number 2.
Well, Corey's sitting on 17th there. He's just one place behind what he needs to be to make that top 16 run-off tomorrow. But of course, it's all academic at the moment because we're not into the eliminations at the moment. But give him a good gauge anyway. As he goes through the Repco hairpin, in the Subaru, the Crow Sports Subaru WRX.
So 40.27, so a good improvement there for him of a second in his split time to the Repco hairpin. So this should be a 105 for Corey Ross if he can pull it together.
Here he comes through the Kumo tyres finish line.
Well, he put the mockers on me at 107.43, so must have had a little bit of an issue on the downhill part of the course, just pulling back some time potentially, but a 107.43, quickest split up the hill, and unable to bring it through on the other side.
Well, coming up to the line now, it is car number 18, and that's the Mazda 323 BFMR of Wade Bridgman Talon. A very, very popular car in its day, the Mazda 323. Of course, at one stage, all the top rally drivers in the country were basically going for this this type of vehicle.
And of course, we have had on display here the Rod Milland 323. We have had it on display at a previous event here, in the pink and white and blue teal colours, which is great to have those cars here on display. And Wade running here in the Rally 4-wheel drive category through the Repco hairpin.
And of course, Rally 4-wheel drive is sponsored here this weekend by Brand Mechanical.
44.92, so best split time improvement there for about a half a second. 0.6 of a second improvement there for Wade Bridgman Talon. A 1:14.31 his quickest time. He'll be looking to improve here through the Kumo tyres finish line. Oh, 1:12.29, 1:12.29 is a great improvement there for the Mazda 323. Just picking up a little bit wide there on entry to the Repco hairpin for Wade, so still some time he can find.
Okay, next car on the line, it will be Mark Pedersen, company director from Christchurch in the Subaru Impreza WRX STI RA. Sponsored by Subtech, Subaru and J-Max.
So of course this is our unlimited 4-wheel drive brought to us by Pub Charity. As Mark blasts away there from the Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line. And his best time so far is 1:11.49. Good enough for 27th, 1:11.49. So a little bit of time to find here for Mark Pedersen. Going through, coming out of Notas and now working up to the Repco hairpin. Best time for the split in run 2 was a 43.95.
Of course, one of New Zealand's greatest rally drivers, Possum Bourne, was always synonymous with the Subaru brand. Well, started out rallying actually, I think, a Mazda RX-3, Possum Bourne.
44.34, so slower split time there for Mark Pedersen as he works his way down through to the finish line. $1:11.28, so a 1:11.28, so an improvement there. And again, another one who is consistent in the back-to-back runs here between runs 2 and 3. 2/10 of a second gained in the last run there.
And just moving up to the line is Jason McConnell, of course, car number 16. That's the Mitsubishi Evo 8, driven by Jason McConnell. That's the high-tech service centre car, high-tech service centre and wheel alignment specialists.
So away he blasts from the Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line. And for Jason McConnell, quickest time for him, a 1:10.80. And a man of jack of all trades, 24th quickest right now for Jason McConnell going into his third run of the day.
Well, 24th, he's got a bit of work to do if he's going to make that top 16. I believe he's actually made the top 8 previously at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint, but the competition is pretty hot this year.
40.82, 40.82 is the split time to the Repco hairpin for that of Jason McConnell.
That's not a bad split time for Jason, so we'll see what he can do downhill. And remember, of course, I think he had a bit of whoopsie last time around. Okay, here we go through the Kumho Tyres finish line.
107.09, 107.09. So, again, another one who has improved dramatically there in that one. 3 seconds there or thereabouts for Jason McConnell. And into the 107 bracket, nearly into the high 106s.
Well, next on the line will be
Alan Groves, car 15.
Alan Groves, yes, car number 15. Fairly standard looking Subaru.
Alan based out of Darfield.
Subaru WRX.
Plenty of dust being kicked up from the start line.
Now, of course, there's a great rivalry, or there has been over the years, between the Subarus and the Mitsubishis here at Ashley Forest.
Can you tell me how many times the Subaru's beaten the Mitsubishi?
How many times has a Subaru beaten a Mitsubishi?
Yeah, for overall honours.
Eh? Yeah, well, I think like Possum Bourne has won the title here a couple of times. I think also... I'm just trying to think of his name. The guy that had a H6 Subaru. Marty Rosdenberg was another one who won in a Subaru. Of course, Glenn Inkster won in a Mitsubishi. So you'd have to count you'd have to have a look at the on the back of the program there to see the difference between the Mitsubishis and the Subarus.
But yeah, great little rivalry. 42.70 was the split time there for that of Alan Groves. So he has improved there at the split. Oh, and a 109.44. So 2 seconds again there for that of Alan Groves. Consistency paying off.
Well, one of the big surprise winners I can remember at Ashley Forest, well, he wasn't a surprise winner the first time around. He came second first time he was here, was Evan O'Leary from the Hawke's Bay. Just out of the blue came down here and finished runner-up to Marty Rosdenberg. And then the following year he actually beat Marty Rosdenberg. And that was a Subaru Mitsubishi battle.
Yeah,
okay.
Another one of those.
On the line is car number 12, Mike Beltrop from Christchurch in the Lock and Key Subaru WRX.
So in the battle there between Mike Beltrop, remembering that you were talking earlier about Verheer Otts and Mike Beltrop battling it out. They're in two different classes, Verheer running in the Rally 4-wheel drive class and Mike running here in the Unlimited 4-wheel drive class.
Well, of course, Mike is a committee member for the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint.
106.76 is the fastest time achieved in run number 2 here for Mike Beltrop.
Runs a wee bit wide off the apex. It might be chopping up there at the apex at the Repco hairpin.
So 41.08, 41.08 is the split to the Repco hairpin. So less than a tenth of a second is the gain there for Mike Beltrop. So he'll be pretty consistent here. A 106 was the achieved last time up the hill. So
Yes.
106.24. So again, about 5 or 6 tenths of a second gain there for that of Mike Beltrop. And it's a little bit wide there, Lawrence, by the looks of it. Just struggled to get the turn in up at the Repco hairpin.
Well, it should be car number 10, is it? Car number 11, sorry. And that is Mr. Fick.
Daniel Fick. Yep.
Daniel Fick is up next. And then Mitsubishi
FTO.
FTO.
Of course, Dannyvert Car Club member. Hailing from the North Island. 12th quickest so far for Daniel Fick after 2 runs. A 104.24 achieved in run number 2.
Well, he previously has been very competitive in the two-wheel drive class. In fact, I think he's finished runner-up to Chris Hay previously.
So he works his way up through Notas. And Daniel's best time in the 40s to the Repco hairpin. Can he go sub 40 seconds to the Repco hairpin? 39.49, so he's in there to the sub 40 run to the Repco hairpin and down through the Plough Hotel Dipper.
Well, that's a very good time for Daniel Fick. Of course, competed very competitively in the Rally Extreme Series in the North Island. Through the Kumo Tyres finish line.
102.81.
Oh, my goodness, that's 2 seconds. Only 2 seconds away from Chris Hayes' two-wheel drive record. Mind you, he is four-wheel drive, of course, this year.
He is, so he's got to find a bit more speed if he wants to take out the four-wheel drive record. So returning Jeremy Beaton, car 10, after having those dramas in the first run. He didn't run in the second run, so they managed to get that car fixed. Hopefully, fingers crossed here for the Mitsubishi man.
Well, he competed in this Evo last year, and previously he's also raced a Subaru as well here at Ashley Forest. Sponsored by Evo Parts, Sector 7, Braggins Panel and Paint, and Team Cabling. So had a varied motorsport career. He's raced in grass karting, TQ midgets, tarmac hill climbs, street sprints, and rally sprints. And he's an engine builder from Christchurch, is Jeremy Beaton.
So first split in run number 1 this morning, just on the cusp of going under 40 seconds to the Repco hairpin for that of Jeremy Beaton. So 39.18 is the split time, so he's under the 40-second mark here for Jeremy Beaton. This car is quick, running Evo 5 running gear in the Evo 1 shell.
Okay, about to come through the Kumo Tyres finish line, just across the line now.
104.01.
That's a good time for an Evo 1. That's a stellar time for an Evo 1. You did say it's got
the Evo
5 running gear though.
Evo 5 running gear, and you just watch Jeremy just coming up there, just sets it up nicely. Nothing too crazy in flicking the back half around. So we get now into car 9.
Gareth McLaughlin. He's sponsored in the Mitsubishi VR4 from Hastings, 36 years of age, sponsored by Calnane Mechanical, Magan Tyre, Newport Electrical, Ace Panel and Paint, Jason McLaughlin Design and Build. And this guy Well, as I said, he's finished in the top 4 at Ashley Forest. Can he do it again this year?
Well, currently sitting 8th quickest after 2 runs. 101.83 for Gareth McLaughlin.
Still, that's a stellar time for a VR4 around Ashley Forest.
Yeah, certainly no standard VR4 that for Gareth McLaughlin. He's wide coming through the Exeter Noters, hugging into the left-hander there. Oh, he's just made a bit of a mess.
Yeah, he muffed up the hairpin that time around to the Repco hairpin. Can he make it back downhill? Through the Plough Hotel dipper.
So 38.43. So he did drop a little bit of time as we saw up at the entrance to the Repco hairpin.
But he is fair flying downhill. Look at this. He's got the jandle down. Believe it's a 101, Nathan.
So it's a 101.22 is the time there for that of Gareth McLaughlin, and you can see there just locked up all 4 wheels and skidded along that loose gravel on the left-hand side.
Well, up next it should be car number 8, David Quantock. We'll see as he comes up to the line.
So we got David Quantock. Car 8, David Quantock, the AP4 Skoda, built of course by Andrew Hawkswood and the team at Force Motorsport. Competed in the New Zealand Rally Championships in the hands of Glenn Inkster before being swept up by David Quantock and the Q Rally Sport team. 38.76 was the split time up to the Repco hairpin for David Quantock, and a 101.91. The quickest run today so far. He comes through the Repco hairpin at a fair pace.
Yeah, he's fair flying.
36.58. That's a brilliant time up to the Repco hairpin. That is flying there for David Quantock.
Yes, he is first in the Lime Rocks Road Shingle Sprint, first in the Autosport Cusp Gravel Sprint, and third overall at Rakaia Zigzag Gravel Sprint.
59.16. 59.16. So David Quantock under the minute and moves currently as it stands into position number 2. That is a stellar time there for David Quantock.
I think
and the
position
Skoda.
number 3, because Sloane Cox is sitting second, is he not?
No, he's only done a 57.
Oh, okay.
So that's based off all the runners we've had so far,
Yep.
P2. We've still got, of course, Sloane and them to come up to the tail end of the field. So we should be now moving on to Mike Wellington, car number 7. And it is the man from Dunedin in the Evo 8 RS. So here, Mike Wellington.
Well, Mike Wellington from Dunedin. That just does not sound right.
Wow. I mean, you could have Mike Wellington from Wellington.
He is car number 7, Mike Wellington from Dunedin. A very nice guy. He's a car salesman down there. And it's the ex-David Holder car. Now, David Holder is a former national rally champion. It's also an ex-Hayden Paddon car, who's also an ex... well, he is the current New Zealand rally champion.
Yeah, Mike Wellington here sitting 11th quickest after 2 runs of 103.85 is the quickest time achieved here so far by Mike as he works his way up through the Noters corner.
Well, the Otago Sports Car Club driver, his best time around here is 59.9. Can he better that as he comes out of the Repco hairpin?
So 38.21, it's his quickest split time to the Repco hairpin. So should be looking for about a 102 here from Mike Wellington.
5th time to the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for Mike Wellington. Through the Kumho Tyres finish line in a time of
102.53. So 1:02.53, 102.53 being the time there for Mike Wellington. Next up from the Winmax Brakes by Pattern Rally Sport staging area.
Should be Dave Ollis. No, it's not.
It's David Nixon, car 14.
David Nixon.
So a little bit of a swap of order going on here. David running a little bit later in the piece than his car, so not sure if he had some issues there to sort out. But we'll slot him in here for his run. The Group A spec Subaru Impreza WRX blasts away from the Superkarts Indoor Raceway start line.
Well, he certainly got closer to the tyres than anyone else is at just after the start line there. But David Nixon, we'll see what he can do this time.
23rd after 2 runs, a 1:10.59 is his quickest time achieved in the morning qualifying sessions. So through noters. And the reminiscence of the 555 Subaru Rally team. Well, he's gone a little bit wide there, Lawrence, through the Repco hairpin, way out into the marbles.
Yeah, a lot of them seem to be going wide out of there. You just wonder whether it's a bit rutty on the apex of the corner.
Yeah, 41.35, still a quick split time there on the way up the hill, so may have lost a little bit of time on the exit there. Can he go under 1:10 here in his third run of the day? David Nixon from Ohoka coming down through the Kumo Tyres finish line. So 1:10.36, 1:10.36, not quite, but a couple of tenths second improvement. And you just see here, he just skates a little bit wide up at the top at the Repco hairpin. And Lawrence just out into that loose gravel and lost a fair bit of time.
Yeah, okay, next up is Dave Ollis, and we saw Dave Ollis had a big moment earlier on in the day. Of course, Dave from Waikuku, he's the owner of Woodend Automotive, and this is the Subaru WRX STI unrestricted. He loves the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. He's sponsored by Woodend Automotive Racing and Baird Collision Centre, E100racefuel.co.nz and Castrol Oil New Zealand.
15th quickest here after 2 runs for Dave Ollis in the Subaru WRX STI. A 105.56 achieved in run number 2. You know, there's a little bit more in this car. Dave working his way up through noters there and now working up to the hairpin. He's been under 40. Can he drop under 39 to the Repco hairpin for Dave Ollis? 38.71.
Oh, that's a very good time to the Repco hairpin. Dave Ollis could be the big surprise this year at Ashley Forest.
He's got through the Plough Hotel dipper and now on his mission to the Kumo Tyres finish line.
Through the Kumo Tyres finish line in a time of
1:03.33, 1:03.33 is the time there for Dave Ollis. So that is over 2 seconds there of an improvement for Dave Ollis.
Very, very quick uphill, but unfortunately with his barrel roll last time, I think maybe that's taken the steam out of him a wee bit coming down.
Josh Mitchell now to the line, up from the Winmax Brakes by Pattern Rally Sport staging area.
Yes, the sales manager at Crow Sport is Josh Mitchell in the Crow Sport WRX. Ex-workshop loan car, as we mentioned before. And of course, Josh has won just about every street sprint worth mentioning in the South Island. He's won the Greymouth Street Sprint, Cromwell, he's won Ashburton, Waimati, and he's also finished 6th in the Rod Millen Leadfoot Festival in North Island.
He'd love to add the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint to his resume. He's got a fair amount of time to collect here if he would like to do that as he makes his way up to the Repco hairpin. He was up 41.88, best split time last time. And he's 40 dead to the Repco hairpin, so he's on the cusp of a 39.
Oh, that's a very good time for Josh. So should be just over the minute mark, so probably about a 103 possibly, 102. Here he comes through the Kumho Tyres finish line in time of
104.99. So 104.99. So a little bit away yet from making the minute, but good progress there for Josh Mitchell in the Crow Sport Subaru WRX.
Of course, Trevor Crow was originally down to drive this car this weekend, but preferring to run the Subaru Justy.
So coming from the WinMax brakes by Pattern Rally Sport staging area is car number 4, the Mitsubishi Mirage. Michael Tall comes up to the line. The Supercarts Indoor Raceway start line.
Sponsored by 4-wheel drive upgrades, spec, performance and submit.
So Michael Tall, 7th quickest after 2 runs. He is on the minute at a 1 minute flat point 6.8.
And his wife Lorna will be giving him instructions up the hill.
I'm not sure if I would have my other half in the co-driver's seat there. Of course, you know, you can have a bit of confidence going through the co-driver, just enjoying a ride, and he is very wide up to the Repco hairpin, running up on the bank.
Well, the 4-wheel upgrades car is certainly trying Mike Toole, a former New Zealand gravel hill climb champion and former New Zealand seal hill climb champion.
So 37.12, so 0.3 of a second improvement here for Michael Toole. Is that going to be enough to go under the minute here for the man from Christchurch? 1:00:32, so he has about 0.3 of a second improvement, but not enough to get under the minute here for Michael Toole. So only a few cars left to go here for our 3rd round of qualifying for day 1 of the RATEC Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for 2023.
And here he is, Neil Webb, former runner-up here at the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. And Neil Webb, car number 3 from Blenheim. He's self-employed at Webb Contracting. The Mitsubishi Mirage 4-wheel drive, 1993. Brought from a lovely old lady in Blenheim, apparently.
One careful owner and one not so careful owner now.
Well, he's competed here at Ashley Forest in 2010, 2011, 2016, 2018 and 2022. He was 3rd in 2016, 2nd in 2018 and 3rd in 2022.
5th quickest after 2 runs with a 1 minute flat point 1.1 and coming sideways out of the hairpin.
He's certainly on the limit there in the wee Mirage.
36.93, so 0.3 of a second.
That's a very good split time to the Repco hairpin.
Yeah, down by 0.3 to run number 2 though. So be close to the minute mark here for Neil Webb.
And we'll get that time for Neil Webb.
59.63, so he has gone under the minute here. Neil Webb.
We had somebody else in the 59.6s too, didn't we?
He's Ari Pettigrew was the other one there in the 59s, so he's 0.02 behind Ari Pettigrew.
Okay, next up is Hayden Patton.
So what's happened to Sloane Cox? He should have been next in our queue. He did have a slow time in run number 2. So here is the Hyundai AP20 Plus.
6 times New Zealand Rally champion, 2011 Production World Rally Champion, Hyundai Motorsport Factory World Rally Championship driver, 2016 WRC Rally Argentina winner, and most recently 2023 FIA European Rally Champion.
So quickest split time in run one is a 35.95, so he will be pushing here at coming through Notice, setting himself up now for the Repco hairpin. Can he go sub 35 up to the Repco hairpin for Hayden Patton? 35.42, so it is his quickest split time to the Repco hairpin by 0.5 of a second, half a second for Hayden Patton here.
Here he comes, down through the Kumo tyres, finish line for Hayden Patton.
55.78, 55.78, that is the quickest run today. 55.78 for Hayden Patton.
Well, if you look at that, 55.78, last year's winning time was a 55. Just check the book there. The event was won in 55.
55.54.
So just slightly slower than last year's winning time in the EV.
But of course, still a good time, and the only one to go into the 55. So unless so some problems potentially for Sloane Cox, we haven't seen him come to the line. So we'll just see if he will come up, but some problems. So just come through confirmation, Sloane Cox a DNF. He will not have an attempt here at run number 3. So
I believe that David Quantock was second fastest so far this weekend.
Yeah, he's third fastest behind.
Third fastest.
Third fastest behind Hayden and his 2 rally cars. So of course.
Or second fastest driver.
Yes, second fastest driver, third fastest car on the road.
And if we just look at the top 32 there, Nathan, just see who's on the bubble, maybe at position number 33, who may have to go a wee bit quicker tomorrow.
Well, we don't have all the runs printed out yet from the results of run number 3, but yeah, it's been quite an eventful afternoon here at the RATEC Ashley Forest Rally Sprint for day number 1.
So if you've enjoyed today, tell all your friends, tell all your mates, and come back tomorrow, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, tomorrow we carry on with our final qualifying run of the morning before we get into the business end of town. We start with the top 32. So we cut them down to 32, and of course we have the cross car finale coming up after the top 32. Then we get into the lunch break before we get into our top 3 finals.
Oh, just running a few highlights at the moment. That was Chris Hay in the MR2. And here we see, is this Dave Ollis?
This is John Ward.
John Ward, who's running in the same team as Dave Ollis. And certainly has put up a good performance as John Ward.
Nigel Lawson there, he had a good improvement there in car 27. So, yeah, some good improvements all around for our...
Great history with that car of Bruce Herbert. And, of course, Ross Thurston previously running it out of the Manawatu. And also here we've got Vaher Otts in the Lock and Key station wagon. And this one is Mackenzie. Shane Mackenzie in the VR4 from Rangiora. He's put up a really good performance, has Shane Mackenzie, the local man in the VR4. Also, this...
So no shortage of action on the hill today. Thrills, spills and plenty of fast times. And Hayden Paddon picking up where he left off from 2022.
Well, William Hawes has certainly been one of the entertainers in that GT4.
Phil Campbell having a really good crack here in the rally four-wheel drive category.
That's really no surprise. Phil Campbell is one of the top drivers in the country. And, of course, Hayden Paddon running the EV and also his more conventional Hyundai i20.
Ari Pettigrew, really impressive today, running the AP4. He's been running it in the National Rally Championship and has certainly shown his pace early on here.
Well, the AP4 car is very competitive indeed, and we're seeing Josh Mitchell. And Josh, of course, a former winner of the 1301 to 1600cc Parks Engineering class.
Yeah, that was Corey Ross there on screen, of course, sharing that car. Wade Bridgman Talon as well in the Mazda 323. Great to see a 323 attacking the course again, Lawrence.
Yes, it brings us back to the days of David Ayling, who won a national title or National Rally Championship in the 323, and of course Neil Allport.
Plenty of Subarus out there in amongst, and Mark Pedersen having a good little wee run there, looking for improvements run by run for him.
Another one that's done the Ashburton Street Sprints previously. And of course Jason McConnell, always entertaining Jason, in the RATEC Service Centre car. A former super stock driver of note. Ran for the Glen Eagle stock car team.
Alan Groves having a crack here in the Subaru. So great little highlights from today's action. The wind causing problems.
Mike Beltrop in the Lock and Key, Christchurch Lock and Key car. Mike, of course, originally started rallying in a Datsun 1600.
And Daniel Fick, of course, running in the FTO in the four-wheel drive category, the unlimited four-wheel drive category. Great showing from him and good pace as the day has gone on.
Yeah, from the pub charity for unlimited four-wheel drives.
Great to see Jeremy Beaton back and again after having those problems earlier on this morning.
Fantastic performance from an Evo 1, and as you said earlier, it's running Evo 5 running gear, which certainly helps. And Gareth McLaughlin, he's a legend, this guy, out of the Hawke's Bay, out of Hastings, I believe.
Yeah,
of course, from the Danny Berg Car Club.
Having a bit of a good time there trying to work through. David Quantock, he was impressive in that Skoda there. That was a blistering time.
Earlier in the year, he's won the Cust Gravel Sprint and the Tamutu, not the Tamutu, the Lime Rock Sprint, the RATEC Lime Rock Sprint, so he's in good form. Also there, Mike Wellington, always there or thereabouts.
So, Lawrence, we will sign things off here from day one of the 2023 Ashley Forest Rally Sprint. Thanks to the Pits TV for their live streaming here for all those who couldn't make it, and to all those who have attended today. We appreciate your perseverance with the winds that are playing a bit